we got into, we talked about hunting, and I know that you guys, I remember because I saw Mr. Forrester before you guys took off, Robbie's dad. And like you guys went into South Africa, and I
Oh
know you
yeah.
had some stories from hunting in South Africa. First of all,
Oh
how
yeah.
how was it? I've worked Cape Town, and I've worked Durban, but I've never been out in the bush. I've been out just
Yeah.
doing security stuff there. How that had to be cool, dude.
Oh man. Like we were talking earlier, I grew up my whole life hunting, and it's
Yeah.
always been around here. And that was the first time I ever went out of the country. And
Oh, I swear, I thought
uh,
you'd gone like the hunting. Well, I mean, I thought you'd hunted in Alaska or
no,
Canada, because I know Robbie. They didn't take you on those trips, huh?
that was before I was working here.
Was that,
Yeah.
man? I'm old. I'm sorry, dude. Holy shit, I'm old.
Yeah. No.
'Cause
Yeah.
I remember them going on those hunting trips. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to. He invited me on one. Like, no, I like to be warm and dry, but thank you. But yeah,
Yeah. First time out of the country and got to go hunting in Africa.
how was it? Just, I mean, I've gone out of the country. How was that just experience of just going out of the country and leaving the United States? First
Right.
time I did, I mean, it's different.
Yeah.
What was that like, man?
It's another world over there.
Yeah.
It's it was amazing looking back on it. It's definitely like a once in a lifetime experience. I think if you're a hunter and you truly love hunting, you need to go to Africa.
What
It's
tag-
expensive, but man, it's
What-
worth it if you.
Where
can
did you
afford
go
it.
to? If you don't,
We
I'm
were
sorry,
north Johannesburg, about
Johannesburg,
like 4
yeah.
hours.
So you flew into Johannesburg, and then you guys went up. Was it like a guided
Yeah.
hunting?
Yes.
Because I think
Yes.
everything has to. If you legally do it, you have to have tags, and it's all got to be guided.
Correct. You have to
Yep.
have a what they call a PH with you.
That's right.
A
Okay.
professional hunter.
Yep.
And they're your guides.
And that's why it keeps, yeah. So it keeps, because they have a huge problem with poaching
Mm-hmm.
up in.
Yeah, there's some dandies as far as people go there because we flew into the airport. That I forgot to tell you about that.
No, tell me. Yeah, go ahead. Tell. I want
Yeah.
to. People need to understand how great we have it here, because
Oh.
it's just going in, just even to a airport in Johannesburg is a big city. That's the capital of. It is not, or it's Cape Town. Now Johannesburg is the capital of South Africa. And guys, forgive me on my geology. You guys can hit me up on that on my comments. I don't give a shit. But it's a big city, and still the
Yeah.
airport. Yeah, yeah. Talk about the airport.
Yeah, it was a wake up call for sure. We flew in and like you're jet lagged and everything,
Sure.
so your brain's not operating at its full potential, so you're a little tired.
Oh yeah,
whatever it is. And
yeah.
It's a 14-hour flight. So, anyways, we get in and I had a ton of camera equipment because my main purpose going over there was to film.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of cameras I wanted to bring and some expensive stuff, and no one told me that you can't necessarily trust the security there like you can trust the security here.
Did you? Holy shit! How much did you lose, dude?
I probably so I didn't know it. So I checked almost all of my camera gear besides my one camera that I use as a carry-on because I film on the flight and stuff.
Wow.
So we drove the 4 hours to the lodge, and I started to unpack. I started opening my Pelican cases. Come to find out, it had been ransacked.
Oh, sons of. Are you kidding? You lost all that?
It was like $6,000 worth of camera equipment that they stole. Yeah.
Nothing. Never got it. I remember
Never
first time I
got it
flew
back?
through Jordan that happened. I had 2 bags of stuff that just disappeared. I never saw it.
And they handpicked the most expensive stuff in there. They knew what they were going for. It was a crazy thing.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Man.
like they had left like less expensive cameras in there, and they took the more expensive
So
cameras.
they've probably been doing it for a little while. I mean, come on, how many
they
people
know
bring
what they're doing,
cameras
yeah,
over there?
exactly.
And doing the same thing that you're doing it. So,
Yeah.
well then, okay, for anybody that's doing the filming, because we do have, again, people that still go over, and there's a lot of great filming, a lot of footage that people do in South Africa. There's great hunting over there. Okay, what do you say? How do you get all your, just don't bring it? What do you do? What's your recommendation,
Don't
man?
check it. If
Okay.
you can avoid checking your camera gear or anything expensive, I would not do it. Because my buddy, him and his wife just went over there, and I told him this exact thing to not do it, and I guess his wife ended up
Checking it.
putting her jewelry and stuff, and it got it all stolen.
Oh, man, you
So-
dirty sons of bitches.
Yeah.
God, I mean, come on, guys. Man, this ain't no
So-
blood diamonds or nothing. What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's terrible. So, but you still, because you got some of them posted on YouTube, and Fort Scott. Just so you guys know, we talk about it on our show meeting a lot, but Fort Scott Munitions has a YouTube channel. But you had it. So
Yeah.
what was you just using this set?
Yeah, I
This is what
had
you had?
some of my main camera with me, my A camera.
Good. Okay.
Luckily, because
Yeah.
I was filming on the fly and everything.
Was it
so-
this one right here? That you're
Yeah,
like,
one of these here.
Well,
These are the same ones.
These
but,
are freaking nice setups, dude.
but yeah, I ended up lucking out and had an audio setup and a camera and a lens setup, and I just made do. And we
What the
ended
hell
up.
would you have done if you didn't? Cell phone?
I don't want to find out. I may not be here on this podcast talking. I may not have a job
Well,
anymore.
it can't be your fault, man. Your bosses are. Come
Yeah.
on, guys. You're supposed to do your due diligence and make sure check these things. But I wouldn't. But to be quite honest, going when we used to go to the Middle East and we fly into the airport, like because they really weren't airports. They were places where planes landed, toilets didn't work, and it was just like goats walking around. And I'm not being stereotypical. I mean, literally
Yeah.
goats walking around the airport, no air conditioning. But you wouldn't think that in South Africa. And I wouldn't have thought that in Johannesburg. Or when we used to fly into Durban. You don't really think that, but you're exactly right. The TSA isn't as, what's the word I'm looking for? They're morally sound in those countries as...
A lot less professional.
They're very much so. Oh man, that sucks. Well, we talked about a little bit, but I want to get into one of your stories there in South Africa. We can talk about a lot of them, but
Yeah.
the big one is you said you got lost on a hunt.
Yeah.
And how did you
that
not
happened.
die and become a lion food, dude? So tell me the whole thing. Just go through the whole thing,
Yeah.
man. That's a great story.
Yeah. So I was hunting, but we were tracking an animal going through the bush and everything, but it was me, my PH, and my tracker. And so there's 3 of us.
Okay.
And they said, all right, man, walk on this road and we'll pick you up at the next mile. We're going to split up.
So
We're
just
gonna
you.
walk. Yeah.
You're by yourself.
Yeah, so we decided to do kind of a line formation, walk
I got
through the
you.
bush.
I got you.
and-
You're pushing. Yep.
Yeah, so we were doing that, and I was in the middle, had my PH on the left, tracker on the right, walking through, hit this next mile road, so I thought, looked up and down the road, no one was there. So I was like, oh boy. So then I hung out there for an hour or so, walked up and down the road, didn't find anybody, and I was like, man, I must have missed a road. So I backtracked, there was a little road, and I ended up finding a set of tracks from my tracker's boot.
Holy
And I
heck.
knew he had walked there. So then at this point, instead of tracking an animal anymore, I'm tracking a human. So I ended up having to follow his boot tracks to this next road. And I lost him at this next road. So I decided, I'm 4 hours in of being lost now.
It's been that long.
Yeah.
Man, you're staying calm though, right? Or you starting to shit your
no.
pants?
I'd like to, yeah. Yeah, I'm a kid from Kansas,
No,
lost
the
in Africa.
the
you know?
panic sets.
Yeah.
No, it does. It sets in. Ask any
Yeah.
ranger that missed his point trying to get to do a link up, and
Oh,
that's
man.
just in training, man. You start to you doubt yourself,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm lost forever, and then the panic sets in. So tell me, did you found him?
Yeah, so it was getting towards evening time. It wasn't dark yet,
It's
but
getting towards-
I'm just sit on this tree in this middle of this road, and it's not a public road. It's just a 2-track, and I ended up seeing headlights and truck coming, and it was my PH and guide.
Well, what
and
happened, man? What?
I ended up taking or missed the road or walked too far. We never really figured out who was wrong here, but it was to the point where I'd finally got enough service. I
Gotcha.
looked up the outfitter on the internet, and I was going to send them an email and say that I was lost because I didn't have anyone's phone number.
Holy
I didn't know
shit.
these people. This is day 1, day 2 of being with them. Didn't have a radio, anything, no form of
No
comms or
communication, no like
anything.
ICOMs or nothing. Just
Nothing.
maybe outfitters. Maybe that's something you need to invest in. Is just a couple Motorola so you can talk.
I know,
to each other.
man. I was looking back and I was like, I'm getting this guy's phone number, getting a radio or something. But
Where was Robbie? Because Robbie was.
they were off on their own.
So they're doing their hunt.
Yeah.
So is that how it worked? Is that you guys would go on separate your ways,
Yeah.
or or was it like, hey, I want to? No, what were you hunting at the time?
In this instance, we were hunting what they call blessed buck,
What do those look like? I don't know.
a goat slash deer, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were they hunting the same thing, or did they go?
I don't know what they were hunting that evening, but man, we ended up killing like 22 different animals over there. So there's a whole wide range of different animals we were hunting.
So that's, you just go that tag, and that's, the hunters take you out and say this is what you can, and you have a limit, of course, like anything.
Yeah.
Or they say, these are.
It's
this
a menu
species.
basically, and it's
Oh,
like, like because a lot of people go over there, and especially me, I didn't know what animals were over there really, and so they give you a list, and this animal, this is what it looks like. Here's a description. So you basically carry around a sheet, or a card of, oh, that's one of these animals,
That reminds me of like the old Gene Hackman movie where they're going to a restaurant and they pick out on a menu they pick out all the armaments they want just by a picture.
Oh, yeah.
I want this here's picking. Can we go get that one and that one? And how many days were you there, bro?
5 days, I think. Yeah, I think we spent 5 days hunting.
Was it super cool? When you weren't hunting, were you just relaxing? Was it a resort?
Yeah, man, they treat you like kings. It's an amazing experience. I've never, been treated that way before. I mean, you would get up from the table to go get like a drink or something and come back, and they would want to like pull your tray out for you or go get you a drink. And I'm like, no, man.
Hey, man,
I'll get it myself.
That's get used to that, man. If we're gonna probably do more of that throughout your lifetime, brother. I think about the hunting, but when you think of Africa, and I'm a huge I love nature. I love the sun. I love sunsets, sunrises, just the blue skies. I mean, what did that? Is it iconic like that? Did you have some clear night where you're just watching that sunset and you see the safari sunsets and you're like, is that for real? Does it really look?
Yeah, that's exactly. It looks so cool that it looks fake,
Yeah.
Same way with the stars at night. I've never seen stars like that before.
Just because there's no metropolitan areas drowning
Yeah,
them
there's
out?
no light flooding or whatever they call it, It's just crisp, clear. You see it raw and you see it how it is, and it's amazing.
Did you capture a lot of that on your? Were you able to replicate that at all on the YouTube page when you're doing your filming? So people
not so much the stars, but some of the sunsets. Yeah.
See, that's what I was gonna want. I wonder about that because I didn't look at all. I watched some of the hunting stuff. Yeah, man. I do. That's one thing I do miss about traveling overseas is that even in some of the worst places, like the war-torn places, and South Africa's not. There are bad places, but when you're out, it is beautiful, man. It's like, wow, you're sitting there, you're exactly right. It's like, this is like a picture. It's like a watercolor picture.
Yeah, it's amazing. Some awesome people over there.
Yeah, man.